Okay, so hi, I'm Lani, and I'm a freshman marketing major at Loyola Marymount University. Today, I'll be interviewing Jesse, who is a member of infoComm International. Jesse, thanks for joining me today. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you went to college and where you work now?
Yeah, I am 24 years old. I am a system design engineer at CoitComm. We're a commercial AV integrator in Redwood City, California. I went to college at Elon University in Central North Carolina, and I was a major in music production and recording arts.
Awesome. So can you describe what one of your typical workdays entails, and what were the first few years in this career like?
Well, I'm only really 2 years into my career. I only graduated from college 2 years ago. Oh man, three now. Dang. Uh, but the average workday as a system design engineer is I'm working on any number of projects. Right now, I've got three large projects, two for one of our clients here in the Bay Area and one north in Santa Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
And what I do is I develop a bill of materials for an install based on what the client needs, or I'm helping figure out what the client actually needs. And currently, I'm writing a scope of work document for a two-building AV project for other integrators to bid on.
Interesting. So what high school and college courses have you found to be the most helpful?
In high school, I did theater and theater tech some as classes and some as just for fun, extracurricular stuff. I started taking video production, and that was really what led me on the course to what I do now. It was video production. I think I started in ninth grade because I had a school with a really good program, and kept doing that. And then I got involved with music. And my high school at the time had a bunch of bands that would play once a month during lunch. And we had this really cool setup with the theater tech teacher he would go and set up speakers and a mixer and just run sound for the bands. And they could do their thing during lunch, which was a totally awesome thing for high school to have. And then after that, I got into Elon University as a communications major, ended up switching to music production with a communications minor, and I liked video editing, I liked music editing, I liked working with creative people on the technology side because that's something I'm pretty strong at. And I got an internship at a live sound production company that had a AV install division. My internship turned into a job in there doing install, which then later when I moved out to California turned into a job here, which turned into an actual career.
Mm-hmm.
So far, at least.
Cool. So what part-time jobs, internships, or extracurricular activities would best prepare you for this occupation?
AV is interesting because there's no major. There's no, my hair, oh boy. Let's start again. AV is interesting because there's no major for it. There's no concrete path that you can take to get there. Mm-hmm. Some people come into it from construction, some people come into it from sales, and just like anything else, there's all kinds of different areas within it that you can take part in. My path was as in music and technology and just having the ability to troubleshoot systems and create things. When I started, I was doing service, which is going around to a bunch of existing projects or existing rooms that something stopped working, figure out why it's not working and make it work again. Mm-hmm. And after a while of doing that, our director of engineering asked me to come in and see if I could be a good designer. So it's really just about developing a variety of skill sets that you know enough about anything to start and then sort of learn as you go.
Hmm.
because no one can teach you how to be any one thing the whole time.
Right.
It's pretty much up to you to know enough to get started and then figure it out as you go.
So, what are the benefits of being a member of InfoComm, both as a student and as a working professional?
Well, I can't personally speak to being a member of InfoComm as a student because I didn't know about it until after I graduated from college. Since I joined pretty quickly, I got my CTS certification after I started working at Coitcom, and it was great at the very least because it showed the people I was working for that I cared, and that's a big thing right now is people older than us have this feeling that the millennials don't care, which isn't true. We just don't necessarily care about the same things that they do, but we still want to like be successful and enjoy our lives and all that. So I used InfoComm's resources online and a physical textbook to study for the CTS, and that gave me a good grounding in AV as a larger picture because I had only done service and install, and there's also a lot more stuff in there about how a job starts, how you know what the client needs, et cetera, and that stuff was really interesting to me.
So, how did you know that this was the right career path for you?
Well, I won't ever really know.
Mhm.
I like it a lot because I'm problem solving,
Mhm.
which is something that gives me a lot of satisfaction. I really, really like the people I work with, and that goes a long way. Like if you have a job that you enjoy and like gives you something, but if you're like that's great. But if you work with people you really enjoy spending time with and you would hang out with outside of work and you like what you do in your day-to-day job, that's, I mean, for me at least, that's all you need. And as long as I keep working with these people,
Mhm.
I'm totally happy.
Okay, so can you tell me about some of the educational programs that InfoComm has to offer?
I'm probably not the best person to talk about every single thing, but there's a bunch of online classes. There's networking for AV. There's essentials of AV on top of your regular CTS and your CTSD and CTSI. Those are like the big ones. They produce textbooks. They have more learning material than I know about, which means there's a lot of it because I've spent a lot of time looking at it.
Mm-hmm. So is there anything else you'd like to add or think would be helpful for someone who's considering a career in the audiovisual field?
InfoComm has a series of councils, each of which is dedicated to a different group of the industry. So you have your manufacturers council, you have your integrators council, independent programmers, there's the education council, and as of recently, there's also the Women of InfoComm network, which is a network for women in InfoComm, which is it was the first like how would you put, like, it's like the difference between a social fraternity and an academic fraternity. I don't really know what you'd call that. It was the first one that was about social issues more and the industry as a whole instead of being devoted strictly to one area of the business.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Women of InfoComm Network, and recently there is the Young AV Professionals Council, which I'm a part of and is been a really great resource for a lot of people to get connected with other young people because we are looking to get smart people into this industry that a lot of people don't know about.
Right.
And there's a lot of opportunity here because people don't know about it, and you can do a lot of different stuff with it. So anyone who is interested in this as a career or even their first job out of college or whatever, I would suggest that they get in touch with me or go on the infoComm website and look at the different councils and sign up for the Young AV Professionals Council and meet a bunch of other like-minded people who are doing the exact same thing with their lives.
Awesome. That's great advice. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jesse. And for those of you who are watching, I hope you learned a little bit more about what infoComm has to offer and about the audio visual field. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to stop.